Have you ever been taken for a ride when it comes to supersizing and growing your business? Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, and our idiom today is taken for a ride. Now, I personally have been taken for a ride as I've been growing and building and supersizing my businesses. It's kind of embarrassing to admit, but I picked the wrong business partner for one of my businesses, and the stuff that happened in that experience and that situation were mind-boggling to me. I couldn't even have imagined the behavior and some of the stuff that this person actually did, much less that they did it. But huge lessons learned there. And this idiom, it is another one of those that the actual origination of it is unclear, but it could have come from, it's been around in the United States since the 19th century, in the early 1900s actually, when, I guess that's the 20th century, but it's been around since the early 1900s when people would lure unsuspecting, I guess, marks onto a bus or a cable car, and then they would take them on the longabout route while they tried to convince them to part with their money as they were getting to their destination, which took forever. It could be from that, or in the 1920s and 1930s when mobsters would take someone for a ride, which really meant that they were going to kill and dispose of their body. So wherever it came from, to take somebody for a ride nowadays means to somehow not treat them fairly, do them a disservice, con them, do something wrong, do something to harm them. And many of us will experience this as part of our business growth and supersizing journey. I wish we could all avoid it, but it's one of those big lessons that we actually have to learn for ourselves, because as much as other people warned me and taught me and told me what to do and what to look for and what to not do and what to not look for, or what to make sure I was paying attention to, I still made the mistake and had to make it myself in order to discover that I really need to listen to myself, my head, my heart, my intuition, when it comes to deciding who I will and will not partner or do business with. And even now, who I will and will not work with when it comes to customers and clientele. It seems like we have to pick and work with at least one person that is horrible for us, not horrible person, but horrible for us and the way we want to work, before we decide what is and is not right for us. So this idiom brought up a lot of interesting thoughts for me. The importance of decision making, having a process for deciding and analyzing, and making sure I consider all the important factors in making a decision or making a choice, especially when it comes to partnering or taking on a new client or consulting customer. Scams, cheats, misrepresenters, liars. I guess it all comes down to people that lie, say they can do something that they're not ever planning on doing. Con people, whatever you call them. Remember, my dad used to always tell me, and this is part of why I was so mad at myself for picking the wrong business partner and then all the drama that came with that, was that my dad warned me. He said, I never met a con man I didn't like. And he was an extremely good judge of character, although he gave everybody the benefit of the doubt. And maybe I started out early in my career giving everybody the benefit of the doubt, and I still probably lean on the giving people a chance to mess with me and trusting everybody first, and then, you know, prove me right, prove me wrong, but prove me wrong for trusting you. I lean toward that. And it brought up things about, originally it brought up negative thoughts, which I find fascinating. Is whenever I start an idiom, I research it, I pick it the day before, and then I research it, and then I go to bed and I sleep on it. And last night when I went to bed, I'm like thinking of all these negative experiences I've had to do with being taken for a ride. And most of them were because I was young and naive and didn't think about the consequences of a choice or a decision or an action. Thus the emphasis on the importance of decision making. And then I realized that there are good and evil people in the world, and I need to attract and attach myself to the good people and just let the evil go do their own thing, but do it to other evil people, not to me and the people I love and care about. Reminded me of driving and riding and transportation and distribution and how we decide to deliver our products and services to the world, things like that. And then I started to remember all of the fun things that being taken for a ride reminded me of. Like my dad, when we were younger, he would rented a trolley and took us all on a trolley ride. You know, in from a tourist town next to us, he rented it and took us all out to dinner one night, and things like that. And then once when he had a hotel, we all spent a Christmas there, my whole extended family, and he had a horse-drawn carriage wagon come and give us all rides. So there's ways to be taken for a ride in a positive way, as well as being taken for a ride in a negative way. And I like to remind myself of that. So let's know your experience with this. Have you ever been taken for a ride in a positive or a negative way? Share in the comments below so we can learn from one another. And I will, of course, be sitting around with another interesting idiom. What does it mean? Where does it come from? And how might you use it to supersize and grow your business today? Have a great day.